All right, hello everyone. This is James Law here, known as the Legend to some of you. And as promised, I wanted to put together a video demonstrating how, in fact, there is no such thing as seller-paid PayPal fees. Hopefully, this will save a lot of people a lot of headaches, and it'll save a lot of people the heartache of getting hung up over what, frankly, I consider to be a pretty trivial detail. So hopefully we'll demonstrate that. I have with me my two daughters. Hannah is going to be playing the role of PayPal. My oldest daughter, Scarlett, is going to play the role of buyer. She's got money ready to buy a die cast, and of course, I'm going to be the seller. We also have, very important detail, the seller's pocket that's going to have money in it for PayPal fees, which he allegedly has to pay. Pay close attention to this. Okay, so we're going to start out this scenario. We're going to play this out three different ways. And we're going to assume a sale price of $100. So 4% of 100. We're going to assume the PayPal fee of 4%. We got 4 Monopoly $1 bills because I'm a little too broke to use the real stuff right now. And we're going to start out by putting the $4 in the seller's pocket, so that he allegedly pays PayPal fees with that. All right. If in fact there is a such thing as seller-paid PayPal fees, that money should disappear at some point. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Okay. We're going to imagine that Scarlett, the buyer, wants to buy this 2012 Matt Kenseth Stephen Siller Foundation ARC. One of the most awesome cars ever made. I'm sure we can all agree there. Okay, so scenario one, we're just going to go ahead and assume that Scarlett elects to pay using the friends and family option. So she's just going to count out $100. And we've got it broken into smaller bills for future scenarios here. So she's going to pay through PayPal. So she's going to hand the money to PayPal. And then, since this is friends and family, there's nothing to be taken out. So, Hannah, you're going to take the entire 100 and hand it to the seller. Thank you. Seller then sends the car to the buyer. So, there was no fees to be taken out. So, naturally, the $4 for PayPal fees that the seller allegedly has to pay is all still there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, boom, boom. Real simple, straightforward. You guys are probably thinking, well, gee, thanks, Captain Obvious. I just wanted to be thorough and very clear, so that's why we wanted to go ahead and do that. All right, so let's reset everything. Now we're going to do scenario 2. Let's say, for the sake of discussion, that I have this car advertised for $100 shipped, and I also go on to say that if you want to pay using the goods and services option, add the 4% for the fee. So scenario number 1, our buyer, Scarlett, sees that, says, okay, fine, no problem. I'll pay the extra 4%. So now she's going to count out $104 and send that to PayPal. All right. Now, since this is goods and services, PayPal is going to deduct $4. So she's going to count out $4 and keep that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, sends the rest to the seller. Absolutely. Seller then sends the car to the buyer. Transaction is complete. I've got 50, 70, 90, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's $100 for my car. Fees have been paid. If this was a seller-paid fee, then this should be empty. And the seller's pocket, which is filled with money allegedly to pay fees, still has $4 in it, obviously. Okay, now you might be thinking again, well, gee, thanks again, Captain Obvious. You said, point blank, that the buyer was going to be paying those fees. Okay, well, now let's put this theory about seller-paid fees to the test, having established all of that. We're going to set everything back up. We have our seller paid fees in the seller's pocket. Still got that over here. Okay. Same scenario as before, except now Scarlett says, well, I don't want to pay the fee. So I will pay $100 for the car, but I'm not going to pay the fee, and I don't want to use friends and family. At which point I say, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and pay $100 goods and services, and I, quote unquote, will pay the fee. So now go ahead and count out your 100. Okay, hand that to PayPal. PayPal, you need to now go ahead and count out $4 to cover the 4% fee. Hand the rest to the seller. Seller gets the money. Seller sends the car. Transaction is complete. Well, let's see here. So we've got $50, $70, $90, $96, of course, minus that 4% fee. But if the seller had paid the fee, this envelope, seller's pocket, should be empty. And it is not. The point with all of this is at the end of the day, the money to pay the fee came from the buyer. It did not come from the seller. I'm well aware that PayPal technically calls it a seller's fee, but that fee is never paid unless a transaction takes place, and a transaction only takes place if there's a buyer. There can be an infinite number of sellers in the world all day long. Without a single buyer, there's no fees being paid out. Now, you guys are welcome to take that information for what you will. In my opinion, I tend to believe that what really amounts to a trivial amount is hardly the sort of thing that any of us should be arguing about, but that's just me. I'm in the hobby to have fun. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.